Brian and Annie from the Harvey County Extension Office, and we're here to talk about the youth COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to ask Annie some questions, and she's going to fill us in on how we can work with our kids to get us through this time. Hey, Annie, we are in a pandemic right now. What should parents be doing to help our children?
So really, our children do a lot of mimicking and follow our lead. So if we can try to stay calm and collected, they're going to follow that lead too. If we can be upfront with them about, we can't go out, we can't see our family, we're going to try to connect with them a different way. Being upfront with them and explaining that this is what's going on, this is what we can't do, but here's some alternatives of what we're going to try to do. Will really help them. They might not fully understand it, but it'll help them to realize what's going on and not just be completely in the dark. Also, just being patient. Kids see what's going on and they know what's going on to a degree, and they can act up or do things that really get on our nerves. And especially with us working from home or having to teach kids at home, it makes our nerves harder, stronger, and makes it hard for us to stay patient. So if we can stay patient with them, that'll really help them learn to cope with what's going on right now.
That's really good. What are some things parents can look for to see how our children are coping?
So when young people can get depression and anxiety too. And so when we're looking at our early childhood kids, they're going to be throwing more tantrums. They might have brief periods of sadness, or they could go the other route and have brief periods of hyperactivity. They could have a lack of interest in any activities that they've loved to do, or they might withdraw from anything. When you get into the middle childhood kids, they might have a new phobia. They might become hyperactive again. They might start stealing or refusing to attend school or do their schoolwork. They might have brief periods of sadness, and they can also have suicidal thoughts. And then our older kids, our adolescents, these are where you will see some of the same things mentioned before, but you'll see things like an eating problem maybe come up, or a fatigue, or even substance abuse, or they're going to start doing a lot of risk-taking actions like drugs or alcohol. So when we start seeing all these things, that's when you should start worrying about how your children are coping with this pandemic that's going on. And so, these things can happen especially when younger children, tantrums and all sorts of things can happen for all sorts of reasons, but it's when you start seeing them more regularly and more often that maybe we should start having conversations with our children.
That makes sense. How can we help with them if we see that they are having anxiety or depression from this crisis?
So let's say we see that our kids are starting to throw tantrums and maybe not take naps, and maybe we have that middle childhood and they're starting to steal random things throughout the house and lying about it. Really, we need to do a couple of things. We need to be patient, because this is how they're dealing with what's going on in the world. And we need to maybe talk to them about it, maybe help identify the feelings that are happening. Children, just like us, get feelings, and sometimes they don't understand what's happening. So if we can talk to them and be like, hey, what's going on? How are you feeling? Have them maybe try to explain it. Sometimes with the younger kids, it's easy if you have a feeling chart up and they can point to it. And sometimes it can be faces of emojis, so the sad face, the happy face, the angry face. And they can point to it and then kind of probe to ask questions on how they're feeling. That's where the patience comes in, because some people, especially youth, can't always explain what they're feeling. And our older kids, really just being one-on-one with them and being like, hey, I'm scared, I'm confused, I'm not sure what's going to happen either. How are you dealing with this? Are you having any problems or feelings? So that kind of something more, treating them like a young adult and really working with them. And then for our younger kids, a good one is try to stick to that routine. Kids thrive on routine, especially their young kids. And if we can try to stick to that routine the best we can, then we can help them cope throughout the days and know that this is what happens at this time. And so I can focus on this instead of focusing on my anxiety or anything else going on.
Gotcha. Anything else you would like to mention?
Not right now. The big thing is just be patient and be calm and just talk to your children. And there's many ways you can try that. You can do that at family mealtime. You can have conversation cards. You can have a feelings chart like we talked about. There's many ways you can do it. You can find a lot on Pinterest or Google on ways to like help your children express emotions. But if you're needing help, just reach out and we can help you come up with a way to help talk to your children.